So, oh well. This is our second video regarding our concerns over the loss of freedoms during and then after COVID-19. And a lot kind of happening. In our first video, we spoke about the race to get an app developed that could be used. Basically, if you're feeling unwell, you send through the app, you ask for a test kit comes, you send a test back, and then depending on your result, they will update your app to tell you whether you're positive or negative. And then the outshot of that is that perhaps they're certainly suggesting or encouraging that businesses and workplaces and that use that information to basically deny you a service or deny you jobs. I can't really think of a nicer way to put it.
Yeah, just a way of control.
A way of controlling you. So, and of course, it's all going to be compiled in this. What they've said is rolling lockdowns, because we've got to expect these second waves and third waves in this coronavirus. And then obviously they've started talking about future viruses. So they're already prepping you for future viruses coming, but it's okay because you've got an app. If you catch it, you can get a test kit, and then you can be self-isolated. And then we spoke about the other, one of the other functions on it is that the app essentially detects people that you passed that might have the app, or people you've been around. So if you test positive, then they get told that they should self-isolate, and so forth and so forth. And so you could really see how this could end up locking cities down for
domino effect.
Parts of cities, towns, whatever, maybe country again. And what's come to my attention since we did our first video, we were just talking about before we started recording, was the unreliability of the tests. You can check this stuff out yourself, but 80+% failure rate in the tests.
3 out of 5 they were saying if we'd failed to get any reading, or if it was a false positive.
So 3 out of 5 you're saying?
I think I saw that somewhere as well.
Yeah, it's about 80+%.
In some cases they were saying that.
Either a wrong result or
no result at all, or
at all. So if the testing is that bad at the minute, how could you trust any sort of app, any sort of result to then be
any kind of clear result,
potentially control your movement, control your freedom. But what we'll come across, and I missed it actually, I got pretty much engrossed in the whole app.
We both did,
was the announcements that there could be
unique wristbands, stroke certificates.
Yes, immunity wristband. Doesn't that sound like a cool fashion item to have on? Fashion my immunity wristband.
Well, only once the science is good enough, though. That's when they're introduced. So they're holding back till the science is good enough, but I'm pretty sure the science is good enough. It's just the timing. So
well, I think okay. That's okay. Okay, screw it.
That's what they're saying. That's what the words use. Science is good enough.
It's fine.
Good enough science,
Before we get into the wristbands, and let's just talk about that then, because the science we've been working on has been a modeling science, and so the more I've looked into it and you've looked into it, essentially it's horseshit.
Yeah, it's just based on projections that may never actually come to be. So, but it's always done worst case scenario. That's how it's done. It's like full on. Like he was the guy that did the modeling for this was saying that a month, 6 weeks ago, saying it could be as much as 2.5 million people dead in America from it. It could be as much as 500,000 people in Britain dead. Well, in Scotland, I think he said if 80% of it got would be like 400,000 dead. So he was throwing out all these huge apocalyptic numbers, which is what they were, end of the world numbers. And then now 2 months later, it's actually it's like 81,000 worldwide.
Well, I think today we've just reached 100,000.
So I know. Okay, that was yesterday. Then I think
So I think today we've reached 100,000 worldwide, which obviously is terrible. But when you're talking about potentially 500,000, they were in their model.
Yeah, but when you're also using
just in the UK.
When you're using this to justify lockdowns, these huge numbers, and then we're what, 2 weeks in the lockdown, 3 weeks, I'm not sure. Not even sure. There you go. Anyway, and there's now coming out, most of them are saying that the numbers are starting to level out, as they use it, their language, and it's not shooting up, as they said.
Yeah.
But just keep carrying on with these draconian measures just for a while longer. We might even crank them up if you humans don't do what we tell you.
Yeah, which is what we talked about.
That's the language.
In our last video was that shortly COVID-19 won't be the problem, which is starting to show it's not, because the numbers are starting to go down of new infections, and new admissions to hospital are starting to go down, or starting to level out at least. And we said, well, COVID-19 will stop being the problem, and all you're hearing now is you better not leave your houses, you better not go to parks, because if you do, we're going to have to lock you in your homes.
But just so you make sure you don't go to the park, we'll open it up for you anyway.
And yeah, and so the ridiculous other side of that is that this weekend, for Easter weekend, they're reopening Victoria Park in London, but they're wanting people to stay away from parks, and they're wanting people to stay away from beaches and places.
But they need photo and video evidence of people disobeying the social distancing, so they can further use it in the media to push through more law.
So what they're doing is they're basically setting us up, right? So we're going to open parks because they're predicting nice weather, but it's Britain, so who knows? But they're predicting nice weather for Easter weekend, saying to people, you should stay home, it's going to be nice, please don't come to these places. Oh, but by the way, we're going to reopen some of these places, but as long as you obey the social distancing rules. But as we've seen, the police are...
You could be sitting in the park 6 feet away from each other, they'll still come in and tell you shouldn't be out. But I thought we were allowed to be out as long as you were practicing your social distancing. So what is it?
So to me, it's a setup. Because they're just going to have...
It's giving them an excuse. It's giving them an excuse. Sorry. Yeah.
It's okay. They're going to have all these video footage of people flouting the guidelines, and then they'll say, well, like you've said, Scott, you say, well, we told you, we've been warning you, and you bad people have pushed it too far, so now it's stay in your homes, despite the fact the numbers are leveling out. So it stinks of a crackdown.
Yes, it does. Definitely, it's a definite lockdown.
Because people are starting to ask for their exit strategy, which sounds like a military term to me, but they're on about an exit strategy from it. And what bugs me about this is whenever the press ask at these briefings that have been on BBC News, BBC channel, you can watch the live briefings that you get every day. The press will ask, oh, have you got any more details on how we could get with this? No, I haven't got a clue. No, we've just got to wait and see. No, we shouldn't think about it yet. We've got to get the numbers down. No. There's no science. There's nothing behind.
There's no end in sight, as we'd like to see it.
But then you have the health minister on TV telling you that they're looking at, and we'll get onto this now, the immunity wristbands.
Yeah.
Now they're linking. What I want to get clear to people is they're starting to talk about wristbands, immunity wristbands, to prove that you don't have the virus,
or that you've had it.
And they're starting to talk about apps, again, to prove that you haven't got it. But they're linking it to that's how you'll get out of the lockdown, right? That's important. It's like, yes, we're going to start thinking about ending the lockdown, but here's all the things you've got to sign up to first.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, and of course it pushes it by going, we need to unlock the puzzle. And that's what he's saying. That's using this kind of coronavirus, so we need to do it by testing. That's what we need to do, even though they've been woefully slow with testing already.
And the tests
in the first place, and the tests that they're using are pretty much garbage. So don't give reliable data back. So
and much of the first batch that we got, and I think this happened in other countries. Yeah, but I'm saying the tests that we got here, as well as in other countries, the tests themselves were tainted with coronavirus. So could you imagine getting a test kit and you didn't have coronavirus, but because the test kit did, because the test kit was already contaminated, you could come back and be told, yeah, you've got coronavirus.
Yeah, but you actually don't, yeah.
So they're trying to link So what they're trying to say is they're wanting to roll out testing that we are seeing, and well, not just we are seeing actually, that's widely reported. If you go and look
No, it's in articles all over the place. This isn't just saying what we think they're way to do. This is what they are doing.
Yeah. Yeah. Please use your lockdown time to research this stuff. There we go.
You have no excuse.
You have no excuse not to research. Be good researchers, but you can find this stuff yourself. That shows you that
we are just reading this back. I mean, what we're reading just now is what was in. I know it's the Sun, but it's in other papers.
Yes, we've got other articles.
The same story. So it's not,
We've got other articles.
It's a wide story.
Yeah. So, like I say, you watch the BBC, and they ask the question, when are we getting out of the lockdown? Oh, we don't know. We don't have any ideas. And then here we have our health minister, Matt Hancock, on Question Time. Now, I don't know how many people have been watching Question Time. I don't even know if being in a lockdown would force people to watch Question Time. But if people didn't watch, I didn't see it. This is why I missed it.
Yeah.
It says Brits could get, quote, immunity wristbands or certificates to prove they can't carry or catch coronavirus once the lockdown is over. So this is what I'm saying to you. They're linking you getting out of your home back to new normal with your wristband or your app or a certificate, right? So there's like 3 ideas banded already, but they seem to don't have any idea when they get asked on the podium about how we're going to get out of this. Okay? So Matt Hancock, he's the health secretary here in the UK. He said there may be immunity bracelets or certificates in the future. So he said, quote, this is him on the show. He said, when the science is good enough to understand the immunity that people have after having had the disease, then we are looking at introducing something like an immunity certificate or maybe a wristband that says, I've had it and I am immune and I can't pass it on and I'm highly unlikely to catch it. Which seems really that would be a massive wristband to get all that on. Like
it would just be an initial
immunity t-shirt. An immunity t-shirt. Yeah. You'd all just go
or t-shirt. You'll get a hat, can like make a MAGA hat. You'll get a MAGA hat. We got a vaccine.
Make autoimmune systems great again or something.
Make needles great again.
Yeah. So again, right, so when the science is good enough to understand the immunity, so what he's saying there is, all while they're doing this to try, apparently, to get your house, you're going to be locked down, right? So you're not going to get out until they've come up with whether it's a certificate, a wristband, or my idea for t-shirt's the best, but there we go. And then he says, and we think we will be able to get there, but as of today, the scientists are not confident enough in understanding the progress of the disease after people have got through it, like I have.
So remember, again, he's had it and he's come through fine. You see, he's another top one.
How do we know though? He doesn't have a certificate.
He's got.
I'm not for the certificates, but I mean, he's on about people getting wristbands, and it's just bullshit. Mm-hmm. This could prove enormously helpful as and when the lockdown is relaxed, or people who have had the bug and are proved to no longer be vulnerable are allowed to go back to work properly. So just again, just like we said in the last video, you're not going to be allowed to participate in society unless you can prove you're immune or whatever it is, you're not dirty anymore or whatever it is. He added, however, that currently it is not certain that people will have immunity after getting the virus. So everyone should continue to practice social distancing still.
So let's keep social distancing going, even though there's nothing wrong with it, but you never know, it might come back. So so just like we've done for the last how many years with the flu, when we never bothered about this measures. Now this new virus when it comes in and going. This is how it is now. Nobody's going to touch each other anymore. Social distancing will just become a thing now. And
again, social distancing, to a sense, to one degree, is a bit nonsensical because in some countries, it's like, so we're 2 meters apart, right? 6 feet is the guidelines. I think in New Zealand, it's only 1.5 meters. Right?
5.5 feet.
So right? And this is all supposed to be based on science, but we've got half a meter of difference between two countries. And I'm sure it's probably different other places. I did hear, and I only heard this, so I haven't looked it up, so it could be absolute rubbish, grain of salt time. But there was some study done, and people were suggesting 26 feet apart.
What?
I don't know how that's possible at all ever, but again, that could have been
Well,
nonsense.
you're going to be the one that measures to make sure you're exactly 6 feet apart. So you walk about with a meter stick.
So you're right. So we said in our first video, they're going to keep things like social distancing in, right? That's not going to go.
No.
Now, we can back this up by Bill Gates, right? Because he's been doing the rounds on the internet, doing his live
As usual, yep.
interviews on the internet.
Yep.
He says that he doesn't think that social gatherings will be a thing anymore. Not until
everybody's been vaccinated, at least. Everybody.
Been vaccinated by one of his companies. Well, maybe not his company, but company.
But that will just be one of the yearly vaccines that you'll be getting rolled out from now on. Mm-hmm. That's his plan, to just keep vaccinating you, because who knows, after a year, be a different strain. So you're going to need a different vaccine because it mutates all the time. That's what he's pushing. So it won't be just one vaccine and off you go.
Yeah.
So
again, this is somebody who's completely unelected to any government anywhere in the world.
He's not even part of Microsoft now. He's not even the chairman.
No, he's stepped down from Microsoft. He's not a medical professional at all.
No.
And
he's by scientists.
And he's going around advising scientists, and he's advising governments, because he's in meetings with governments, saying this kind of stuff where, I don't think social gathering should happen until everybody's been vaccinated.
And even then, we'll still probably need to keep the numbers a lot lower than what they are now. That's what he's basically saying.
Yeah, of gatherings, you mean?
So forget about concerts and gigs and cinema. Stuff like that, that's far too big a gathering.
Or just house parties or family gatherings.
Mm-hmm.
Family gatherings, when you've got a large family. So again, it's in this article, it's talking about, we'll have to keep this social distancing in place. Downing Street also said today that they would be looking closely at how well immunity certificates work in other countries, right? So you have to understand, this isn't just Britain, this is a worldwide, like I said I think I said at the start, it's just looking like a worldwide lockdown, right? And people are only going to start to get out in their communities if they have a certificate of some sort. Now, it makes sense if they're looking at other countries for certificates. Those certificates are going to be digital certificates, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it just happens again that Mr. Bill Gates happens to be part of this thing called ID 2020.
Yes, he does.
I'm going to look up ID 2020, where he thinks everybody in the world should have a digital ID.
The tag, yep.
Yeah, everybody should have digital ID, because he thinks you should be able, and he says it says on the website, you can go and look up ID 2020. It's a real thing, it's a website, and they say that everybody should have a digital identification, because it's a human right to prove who you are.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
Right.
Really?
So he's pushing this, and then you get these things about other countries are also looking to put in these immunity certificates. So this immunity certificates are going to be digital. They're going to be accessible on your phone or some other gadget that you'll have on. And then he says you can see how they work in other countries before rolling them out in the UK, right? So the PM spokesman said it is something which has been discussed in other countries. We will look at strategies followed elsewhere. If there are things that would be helpful to the UK, we will of course consider them. Right. So there you go, right? Linking you getting out of your lockdown with having some sort of proof that you're no longer infected or can be. But
or
this
this
is up against testing that's woefully awful. They can't get an antigen, they can't get an antibodies test accurate either. So again, how are you going to tell if people have had it or haven't had it? It sounds like you'll be forced to get tested, because if you don't get tested, then you can't get your certificate. So you're talking about forced testing, right? You're talking about forced testing, and then you're talking about a forced ID of some sort to prove that you're now negative, and then you've got the ideas, and an idea coming from people like Bill Gates and people of his ilk that are suggesting that we should hold off social gatherings until
the immediate future.
Until most of the world's population is vaccinated. So they're talking 18 months to 2 years to get a proper vaccine in place, right? And then
how long to distribute it?
And then you're talking about having to roll it out. All this before you can get back to normal. I have to be honest with you, the fear that I've seen when I've gone out, especially in the last week, is quite worrying.
Yeah, well, here's an example as well. The supermarket across the road from me, up until 2 days ago, didn't have any of the shielding and that stuff up. All that's all up now. There's queues at the door. They're letting like 2 people in at a time. People are like wondering, well, they're not even social distancing in the queue. That's a laugh. There's no people. The people are not even 2 meters in the queue, so what's the point?
Yeah.
And you've got these same people that are going to go inside, stand outside next to each other anyway.
What we said the other night was, when we were chatting on the phone, I had said to you that, if the government had turned around to me and says, look, highly contagious, right, all the rest, and I'm like, okay, and obviously, it is affecting people and people are dying, right? So I just want to be 100% clear that neither me nor my brother, we don't think that there is no COVID-19. We know there is, and we know it is infecting people and it's causing deaths to people.
Yeah, of course. That's
now, maybe not directly killing them, but certainly people with underlying health conditions and elderly people. So we know people are dying. So I don't want anyone putting us in the camp of saying that we're not saying this, right? What the point I'm trying to get through to you is that it's being severely hyped, as we can see now with the numbers, right?
And it's being used to bring in other things.
But and other things are being told what's going to come. We're being told what's going to happen after. So if the government had said to me, right, Greg, this is going to happen until the end of 2020, unfortunately, it's going to be a year. We'll have to make sure that the numbers are way down and all the rest. But after that, there's no catches. We will just, you can go back to life and all the rest. Okay, right. But now it's like, well, your world's changed now, Greg. I'm sorry to tell you. And all these new powers the police have got, well, they'll probably just be kept because we're going to need to keep gatherings.
Because if it happens again, just if they're there anyway, it won't matter. So
we're going to have to keep people apart because we'll have to wait for a vaccine or we'll talk about therapeutics in a second. So we'll have to keep people apart, social distancing. The police powers they've got now, they'll be keeping them. Your social distancing, that's a good idea. We'll have to keep that. Oh, want to leave your house? Well, you're going to have a certificate or a band or a T-shirt.
Yeah. Papers, please. Yeah.
Or you have an app. Yeah, papers, please. You're going to have to papers, please. But that's your new normal now, and I just refuse that. I'm absolutely.
But you just said it though. It's the new norm. That's another word you could get put in a T-shirt. Cause that's the word that they're just flagrantly throwing about. Just throwing it about. New norm, new norm, new norm. It's everywhere.
So part of what we said in the end of video one was we're going to do solutions. So I'm just going to quickly run through solutions. I think basically the solution is you and me. Well, not you, Scott, and me, but anyone watching this.
Yeah.
Individually, first of all, you need to do your best to peacefully and respectfully get in touch with your MPs, MSPs, if you're in Wales,
whatever they're
called.
Research first too, so you know what you're talking about. You've got an idea of what you're saying. Your research is important as well. Listening to me and you talking, I mean, that's okay, but you should still go on after this video and have a look for yourself.
Definitely.
Just to back it up, because we could be lying. We're not, obviously, but we could be, but we're not. So get yourself familiar with it if you believe that it is going to go down this route, and then let your family know, let your local politician know, or just ask them what they think of it.
Yeah, I mean, give it, you're slowly being led down a path to ask for this, and I don't know if people are aware of that. The government have made themselves look incompetent from the start. And what happens slowly but surely is through the media, people have been asking for the lockdown. People have been asking for a full clampdown for weeks in this country. Like, you can go back and watch the questions that the press ask, whether it's they're asking Nicola Sturgeon, MSP, or whether they're asking the guy in Wales or the person that's in Northern Ireland or the Prime Minister or whoever's been in, doing the briefings, is the press constantly says, so when are you going to fully lock down then? Surely we should be fully locking down. And then you have people in comment sections, oh, we need to fully lock down the country.
Surprised we're not already, blah, blah, blah.
So there's this fear of, oh, the government was too slow to react. Oh, the testing doesn't work. There's not enough tests. Oh, the numbers are going up. Oh, what do we do? What do we do? And people are asking, well, you need to give the police more powers. You need to lock us in our homes. You need to start arresting people. You're asking for your own enslavement. They're gonna have you by the end of this, people. They're gonna have you asking for a wristband so you can go back to work, right? Unless you turn and go, no, I'm not accepting the rest of your life
being tracked.
So likes of in Denmark, they've passed a forced vaccination law.
Yeah, you would know option.
What they've said in that past law is that, yeah, they're not right now, obviously there's not a vaccine, but they're not saying right now they're going to come around kicking down people's doors, sticking needles in their arms. That's not what they're saying. What they've said is, oh, if when a vaccine comes available and if there's enough danger in society with it, then yeah, you'll have to get it. I'm sure they can find a way of creating that danger.
Of course.
But they now, the point is in Denmark, they now have a law in place that allows the government to force vaccinate people. Well, other countries have already started, really draconian, beyond draconian, really. I don't know what beyond draconian would be, but
mega draconian.
That's it. Perfect. Yeah, so that's it. The point, the government are going to have you begging
your servitude. Yeah,
they're going to have you begging for a wristband to get back to work or whatever, because it'll just be such a shambolic situation. People will be like, well, how can I get back to work?
Because it'll make your life so miserable if you don't have one. Yeah. You only go back to work, and then you also got the other add-on people that do get this wristband or certificate. You're going to be watching them merrily plot about their day, where you're being told, well, you can't go out anywhere until you get yours. So you're just backed in a corner where eventually you'll have no option. But again, there will be no option.
Mm-hmm.
That's how they started off with. It's I'm in the same boat as you, but that's what I'm trying to say. Well, you and I'll be expecting the firm boot of the law.
Quite possibly, but I won't be doing it. So I just hope there's enough people that see this that can recognise the dangers that are coming down with everything that's being passed.
Yeah. So basically, we're giving them an excuse. We're basically giving it to them at the moment.
Yeah.
We're playing it in their hands.
Yeah.
Especially with the whole social distancing thing, with the fact that, especially from last Sunday when they were showing and berating all these people that were in this park. But some of the videos I watched, they were sitting, well, I can't measure 2 meters, but they certainly weren't sitting right next to each other. So it looked like they were at least trying to follow the social distancing rules. And there's nothing in the rules that says you can't go out. This is the whole point. But the cops are not saying, well, you can't. And like you said as well, if they're so concerned about it, why are they opening parks?
Yep.
For the weekend. So they're going to encourage people to go there.
What's that guy from Star Wars? It's a trap!
It's a trap! Admiral Akbar, it's a trap.
Star Wars, yeah. But yeah, it is though. I mean, people should see that,
Some people do. Heck, I mean, we're not the only ones, obviously. No. Well, not that we know, but we're just worried that there won't be enough. And that they'll get a lot of these laws through.
2 years the law is to stand for.
Standard.
And it is to be reviewed every 6 months. But reviewed doesn't mean taken away, right? Yeah. Reviewed can mean reviewed can be we're adding more.
It's fine. Yeah, carry on.
Review can be adding more.
Yeah. Or just keep it as it is. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So you've got likes of Wales, who we've spoke about quite a bit, but they've already been, I don't know if they still are, but we've certainly seen the video footage of drones being used, telling people to keep their social distancing, telling people to stay in and stay safe and save lives, all that kind of stuff. Now, I don't know to what extent Wales has been using that. I don't know if that was a one-off and it's never, I don't know. But there's nothing to say in the 6 months' time when they look at the bill that they go, yeah, we're just going to roll out drones everywhere. Like,
police are using them now, so you know they're there. You've seen them. So therefore,
they're going to be looking for people who don't have their digital certificate,
bracelet, whatever form it is. Yeah.
T-shirt.
Whether it's on your phone.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whether it's on. Yeah. I mean, did we talk about the coughing app? Did we?
Coughing app.
Yeah.
Coughing
app. Yeah.
Yeah.
We talk? Right to start, did we? Yeah.
No. Never talked about the coughing app.
Oh, I thought we did. So we can expand on that.
And then you're better too.
Yeah, well, it's on the Oxford University site. It's what they were doing. You can go on and you can give them a sample of your voice, a cough, and it can, or so they're saying, it can tell by how you're breathing, because they're saying at the spot that people with COVID-19 breathing is a certain kind of laboured, so they can tell. And they also want samples of the voice because you can tell by how you talk, how they take your breaths in between. But this has been, they've had this similar app since 2015. There's an article I'll send you, we'll put up, that goes on about it being used then, 5 years ago, but it was used for like detecting bipolar in people. Also like bronchitis. Mostly, it was aimed at mostly children, like respiratory asthma, things like that they could pick up on. But that was 5 years ago. And it's the same idea, obviously technologically more advanced now, but it's the same idea.
Yeah. So yeah, I'll put as much links as we've got in below. So like I said before, people, please have a look at the articles, right, and do your own thinking.
Yeah.
Scott and I are just making this video because this is our thoughts and this is our worries, and they might be completely wrong. And you know what? I hope it is.
Definitely.
I hope come towards the end of the year, these videos look stupid and people are like, really? That never happened. What a couple of dorks. That's fine. I'll be a dork. I'd rather be a dork than have people freaking out because they're either being locked in their homes because they don't have a digital certificate, or they're being hassled everywhere they're going to show the digital certificate so they can participate in society, which is clearly a saying I like to use because I used it 100 times the last time. But this is, we shouldn't. Another aspect of this for me, because we're just going a bit wider today than just reading an article.
Yeah.
The other worrying thing for me is how easily we've decided that
complied with everything.
Yeah, that the government can do what it wants. One of the big concerns is mega concern. There we go.
That's it. Mega Mirrors podcast.
Yeah.
Mega
so
Mirrors.
my mega concern is how easy it's the government can say anything at once and we're all just going, yeah, that's cool.
That sounds good.
No problem.
Wait, hold on a second.
I don't personally believe that any government in a democratic society. So what's kind of scared me is seeing how everybody has praised China and other Eastern countries who were very, very, very terrifying with their outbreaks where they were welding people in their home. Anything that the government says now is just good to go. And then I think if you're in a democratic society, then regardless of what outside threat or whatever is happening, the government shouldn't have the right. They don't have the right just to say, yeah, police state now. Extraordinary.
But they're doing it though. So
extraordinary power.
Right.
Lock you in your home now. Into the future, papers or digital ID, please. And they shouldn't I'll just talk directly about coronavirus, right? So yep, we've already said it's killing people and we admit that. But at what point should society be shut down completely and then totally reformed and repackaged
This new norm.
New norm. At what point? At what point do you just say, yeah, you know what? Screw freedom.
No, it's happening now. This is the
I-
kind of they're trying to
For me,
make into it.
for me, and here's my idea, right? And people will obviously disagree with this because of what's going on. But my idea is, yeah, I'd have no problem, obviously, with the government, with science and with experts, giving you, experts giving you the information about coronavirus, the dangers of it, and as individuals, you should be able to make that choice of, well, what is the sanest and rationalist thing to do?
Yeah,
right.
You should be given options, named one and only option.
And it started. See, the progression was that we were children. Right? We were children. This is the progression because it started with. Now remember, kids, talking about the population as a whole. Remember, kids, wash your hands when you use a
tissue. Even
tissue.
sing "Happy Birthday" to you if you want.
Happy birthday, right? Wipe your nose with tissue. Throw out that tissue because obviously when you've normally got the cold, the flu, what you do is you take the tissue and you eat it and you rub it.
Keep it, or you put it in your pocket. You keep it. You reuse it.
Yeah, like just I know. So it's wash your hands. It's talking to you like you're stupid. Let's do these things. Get you used to going. Yes, okay, that's reasonable. That's reasonable.
In a cool, calm tone, you talk to as well. You get the guy Boris's stand-in yesterday apologising. Oh, I'm very sorry about this. But your name. Yeah, but you're not actually really sorry because you're just telling us what's happening. It's not you, unless you personally chose this lockdown. Then why are you saying you're sorry? It's just how this patronising way of talking to you. Well, especially from him, the doctor guy. He's all right because he's a doctor. He just tells the scientist. He just tells you how it is. But it's just so painfully obvious that he's reading from a script. He's been coming and all these he's hitting all these sound bites, all these words.
That's what I said to you. It's Stockholm syndrome. Yeah. So the government have locked you in your house, but they've apologised for it. Mm-hmm. And then they're going to have to keep you in your house, but they apologise for it because it's hurting them more than it's hurting you, right? It's like but they
can't even do it themselves. Got Nicola Sturgeon's. She's wondering, the health secretary, isn't it? She's wondering about her second home 40 mile away. Well, you're being told that you can't really go further in the shops.
Yeah, she got sacked. Well, she resigned, but then the guy. There was I think there's the guy in New Zealand. I think he's been caught 3 or 4 times, but he doesn't care. He's just laughing it off. He's not signing.
He's a higher class than you and I.
It's a Stockholm syndrome example. So it's like it's exactly like a partner that abuses another partner, or a partner that abuses their partner, right? Yeah. And just constantly apologizes. Oh, I was drunk. Or I'm stressed out, or I've got mental health issues, and then person's like, I understand, and this is what we're like at the minute. We're like the victim, right? We're like the victim. We're going, oh yeah, totally, lock us down, yeah. You have the police now, and they've had to come out and apologise and back off and all the rest because they were checking people's trolleys to see if the items that they had that the police believed were essential items. They were standing in aisles and then tweeting about good to see that non-essential aisles are empty. Then I think they tried to find a guy who was in his own garden. They tried to put him in his own house. They've had to apologise to him because they have no authority if you're in your own garden.
Drunk with power.
But this is the problem. This is how it's going to go hand.
Yeah, it's because you're a human. I mean, it's just, of course it's going to happen.
But you have people praising that, though. You have people saying, well, the police, they're in a difficult position. The police are...
That's the mindset they're slowly getting everybody into, though. Where you're going to grass your neighbour, where you will put your neighbour, drop your neighbour in it. Without even thinking twice about it.
Well, Greater Manchester Police said last weekend that they had over 1,000 calls of people snitching on neighbours and snitching on
get riches. They were saying.
Yeah, that
used to be snitches get stitches. No, it's snitches get riches.
What is he, a mayor or a governor somewhere in
America?
And he says, yeah,
I'll find him, put it up. I'll put the because so you can actually see the level that it's at. Yeah, he's live on TV going. If you're a snitch, And he's like, you'll get rewarded. You'll get rewards. That's what he says. You'll get rewards or rewarded, yeah.
Yeah.
That's what he says. Actually
But,
says
like,
it in that way too.
it's frightening to me that the Greater Manchester Police, just that area, is saying to me that they got thousands of calls. And they even had to come out themselves and say that some of them were, Greater Manchester Police had to say that some of them were absolutely ridiculous calls.
Yeah, well, you're going to get neighbours that don't like each other just grassing them up, and that's wasted police time as well, though.
But it's this, what worries me is it's the mindset that people are already in the mindset that I'm accepting this. And so if other people are flouting or whatever, then I need to, I'm saving the world. You're being told, like, if you're saving lives. Look, if you're in your own house and you're doing what you're being told, and you see someone who's out and this person's walked their dog 6 times because they have a dog and dogs need walked more than once.
Oh, yeah.
But if that person is out walking their dog, they're not out killing people with the coronavirus. So why would you phone? This is the type of phone calls people are doing. Oh, he's been out his house more than...
It's a mass hysteria, though, because to them, they're just looking at, well, that's my opinion, but they're just looking at that person, they're thinking, oh, he or she could have it. And they're spreading it as they're walking their dog. There's no real idea whether they do or not. The very fact that they're out on their own shows that they're trying their best to, if they do have it, not spread it to any other person. So they're isolating themselves when they go out. I mean, you can't ask them to do anything else apart from not go out, which is the next step.
Yeah.
It looks like they're looking for any excuse to use it. That's it. That's it. And I think if they get their way with an Easter weekend, could be a perfect time for them to say, look, everybody you enjoy Easter when you should be at home locked up fearing for your life.
Yep.
That's what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And once they've got that,
people are cracking up at home that are just wanting to get out for just a bit of fresh air, and they're getting outside, some cops on top of them for being outside.
Yeah.
Telling them it's non-essential.
Yeah.
Well, it is essential. Mentally, you need to get out. You're going to you have a breakdown.
Yeah.
No, a lot that's going to start happening to a lot of people, and if they do go full lockdown, full where you're not allowed out of your house, and
well, the amount of reports it's been out now with domestic abuse hotlines, absolutely chock a block because you have people who are trapped in their homes with abusive people.
The divorce rate in China shot up massively when they started relaxing the lockdown laws over there. Yeah. There's a massive rise of people filing for divorce. I mean, it could have been a bad law from before, but as well, obviously. But no, definitely, there's a significant rise in the amount of people filing for divorce. But it's because they're locked together. You're not meant to be locked together 24/7, regardless of how happy. You could be in the best relationship you've been in, but if you're in that same room with that person for 24 days, for even a week, you're gonna fall out. You're gonna crack because you need that. You need to be out. You need to. It's not good to be feeling confined and enclosed. Anyway, and if you're in there with someone else, the same. And then if you're in there with 2-3 children, young kids, as well. Think of the pressure.
Yeah.
Especially so at half an hour a day or an hour a day or whatever they're saying you can or can't do, they're not putting an actual number on it, but could be what's keeping them together. That hour of fresh air, just collecting their thoughts. So if that gets taken away, David, you take that mindset and you put it on like with the bracelets, right? Like I was saying as well. So you've got these people that are now they've got their certificate, they've got their bracelet, and now they're going out and about. And you have people that haven't done it yet. That's that same mindset is that you've told them they can't go out until they get this bracelet. But if they see enough people wandering about, they're just going to go fuck it, and they're going to go anyway. And then all is going to get involved, and that's when you're going to get rioting. You're going to get things are going to get out of control. And this is supposed to make things better. It's potentially will make things worse.
I don't know. I think with the amount of fear, I think the compliance will be much bigger than any chance of rioting, because I think they've got either an app or a bracelet. They've got a mixture of technologies ready. They've got them ready. It is just waiting for the right time when these numbers start to come down, and then they announce they're going to loosen off the restrictions. That's just going to be offered to you straight up.
Yeah.
And so that's what I mean by the compliance well, I hope not. I hope the compliance is no, I'm not actually needing one of those bracelets to go outside. if you're telling me the numbers are down now, I'm good to go.
But you won't though, because it's
I don't
packed
need-
as a nice, cool bracelet. Ah, if I harm today, just stick it on the wrist. I mean, I give it again. Start. We'll need to patent it. I'm sorry. But yeah, no. Yeah.
Anyway, we've covered a lot, I think, and rambled a lot. But I'll put as much links as I can in the video description, and you can read the links. You can make up your own mind. Maybe I'm reading way too much into it. Maybe, yeah. I mean, that's maybe it. I hope I am. I hope I'm completely wrong.
This is just here so you can watch it and then decide for yourself.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
Yeah.
We're not trying to start a cult or just type of information out.